So like, you just woke up from the hospital and you're like, the hell is that? It's an ostomy. I feel like some of us are fortunate enough that we got to decide to have an ostomy, and some of us, we just woke up with one in a hospital, and it's not uncommon, and you're not alone. So the doctor walks in and you're like, what is this? And he's like, we gave you an ostomy. And you're like, why? And then he tells you the reason why you had to have it. Sometimes it's cancer, sometimes there was some kind of accident that happened. Not necessarily that the doctors had an accident, but like maybe you were in an accident, and it's just not uncommon. So you're gonna come to find out, the more that you look into it, a lot of people have an ostomy, and life's not over. In fact, for some people, it's like the start of a new life. People that have ulcerative colitis or Crohn's disease end up getting an ostomy, and then they get to go live their lives to the fullest. But if you were kind of already living your life to the fullest, and then you got an ostomy and you're thinking, oh shit, it's gonna be all right. So some of the biggest questions that we get, well, I think that the biggest questions that we have at first are like, what do I wear? Can I eat anything? What do I do with this? Where do I get the pouches? So I kind of want to run down with you a little bit and welcome you into the world of having an ostomy. It's gonna be all right. So first of all, that bag is called an ostomy pouch. And you can go to a medical supply company online, and they'll work with your insurance company to be able to get you a reoccurring order of the pouches that you prefer. I use these. This is the pouch by Coloplast. It's by Centura Mio. Some of the other big name brands are going to be Hollister and Convatec. You can get samples from these companies by going to their website and just simply requesting some samples. You're gonna wanna know the diameter of your stoma. So your stoma is that little red thing that's sticking out of your belly. You're gonna wanna know that diameter because you want to be able to figure out what size wafer you need. And hopefully there's an ostomy nurse that's come into your room and explained to you a little bit about all of this. So, this is the one that I get. It's called a two-piece system. It just clicks onto there. I use a two-piece system for myself because it meets my needs, and you're going to find the pouch that best meets your needs. Another question you might have is, do I have to live with this forever? Sometimes. And it's not a big deal. My ostomy is a permanent ileostomy, and I actually elected to have it that way. For me, I was done with surgery, so it wasn't a big deal, and some people do live with them for the rest of their lives. It's not a big deal. You might have yours for 3 months or 7 months or 2 years or 5 years or for the rest of your life, and it's gonna be okay. You will survive. You've made it this far. So the output is your food that you eat that's just simply not passing through that last little bit of your colon. So some people have an ostomy that's called an ileostomy, which means that the ostomy, or the stoma, I should say, starts from the ileum part of your digestive tract, excuse me. Then you have a colostomy, and that starts somewhere in the colon. They've removed part of your colon, and then your colon is the part that is protruding out, creating the stoma. You can also have what's called a loop ileostomy, which is a little different. You can have a urostomy, which is using the urinary tract. It doesn't involve your colon, it's the urinary part of it. There's a couple of other different things as well. You'll hear terms like J-pouch, which is another type of ostomy sort of thing, a different branch of it, if you will, but it is a different animal. So anyhow, there's lots of different ones out there, and you'll find yourself kind of learning these terms. Don't feel overwhelmed right now, it's okay. As far as what you can eat, that is gonna be the fun part. So you really have to start to introduce foods a little bit at a time. You're gonna wanna stick to like a staple, basic diet that digests easily, especially at first, because that's gonna hurt. I really recommend avoiding super high fibrous foods at first, because those high fibrous foods can sometimes be difficult for us to pass out of that very delicate and new stoma. You can start to introduce high fibrous foods as you've lived with your stoma a little bit longer, and you're kind of used to what's gonna happen whenever you eat them. Basically, it's like taking a big dump through a little hole. Let's get graphic. I love potatoes, I love vegetables, and I know the consequences of consuming a lot of those. You'll also find that certain foods for you personally are gonna cause you to be gassier than other foods, and you're gonna fart through that son of a gun. So it will balloon up, that's what we call it when it fills up with air. It balloons up, and there's different techniques. You can look in my video collection on how to burp your pouch. Anyhow, you will want to slowly introduce foods that are different to see how your body reacts to it, and over time you'll just get used to it and you'll know what to expect. If something hurts to eat, don't eat it. That is kind of the basic rule for anything, even before you had your stoma. If your body doesn't like it, don't eat it. Unless you freaking love it like potatoes and you eat 2 containers of them knowing damn well that that's not gonna feel good later, but you do it anyway. All right, and as far as dressing yourself, you might look at it and think, well, like, how am I supposed to wear, my shirt tucked in? Or how am I supposed to wear a form-fitted shirt? People are gonna see this. Number one, no, they're not. No, they're not. I will tell you again, no, they're not. Nobody cares. And nobody sees it because nobody's looking for it. I mean, it's not an uncommon thing. It's just not a common thing for people to have. And it's especially not a common thing for people to look for. I've been able to spot people that have an ostomy because I have one. But wouldn't you want somebody that has an ostomy to be like the only person that can tell that you have one? Because that's how it is. So one thing that you can do is get a thing called a stealth belt. Mine has paint on it, I'm sorry. This is a band that's very stretchy, very breathable. You can wear it daily, or if you're just doing something outdoorsy, or perhaps you just want to kind of dress up and keep your pouch more form-fitted. It not only keeps your pouch really flush to your body, but it also helps to support your pouch whenever it starts to get full. So whenever I have a night out and I'm drinking some alcohol, my ostomy tends to not appreciate the amount of alcohol I consume and punishes me, and it gets really heavy. But I'm wearing this, so I'm not worried about that output pulling down and making me feel uncomfortable, because it really does feel like a small child just like tugging on your body and you're like, God dang it, this is heavy. But this will help to support you. It has Velcro on it here, and basically there's a little hole and your pouch will fit inside this little thing. This one is, this design is called the Stingray. It allows your pouch to remain facing downward. They do have one, their traditional stealth belt is where you actually turn your pouch this direction. There are pros and cons to both. Out of sheer laziness, I do prefer the Stingray because I just don't care to like continue to turn my pouch back and forth. You don't have to turn your pouch back and forth to empty it out. I just found for me that that's what had worked best when I did decide to wear my pouch horizontally. Anyhow, I will include a link to this down below so that you can look into this for yourself. There are a couple of other brands that make some that are similar, which I've tried myself, and I gotta say this one, in my opinion, works the best, and it's really durable. I've had this for a couple of years now, and I do have a couple of them. So look for the link down below for that. Any other questions? Maybe as far as like body image, you might be thinking, well, how am I supposed to like walk around on the beach? Like this. Just do it, who cares? Really, I had a girl come running up to me one time when we went floating on the river, and she like comes bouncing up and she goes, she stops in front of me and goes, you know what? At first, I was like, why is she wearing her sunglasses pouch like that? And then I was like, it's pretty clever. And then she kind of like bounces off. And then, I mean, I was kind of like, and my friends were standing there just laughing. And it makes me realize that people that don't know what it is, they just simply don't know what it is. Like, it just doesn't even phase their life. But somebody that does know what it is, they see that and think, wow. Like, applause for you for doing that. Because honestly, like, people need to realize you have this superficial thing here, and not everybody gets to see somebody's struggle and what we go through on a daily basis. And I find it to be kind of a humbling experience. It's kind of like When maybe you know somebody for a while and then you find out they have like an artificial leg or something and you're just like taken back. Wow, you really just don't let life stop you. And that's how it is, I think, for other people, is they find it to be rather inspiring to get out there and just be courageous about it. And nobody gives a crap. Just go live your life, and nobody gives a crap, no pun intended, sometimes. Also, there's these really cool covers that you can get. They're very lightweight and thin. I love these. There's various different people that make them on Etsy or that sort of thing. And you basically just slip your pouch into it and it covers it up. These look really pretty. You can get some to maybe match your bathing suit. I know a lot of people wear these when they're on the beach or when they're out and about and they're gonna be somewhere with their shirt off. People love to wear these because they are really pretty. And it took me a good solid 1.5 years of having my ostomy before I ordered a couple of these, but I definitely think that it's worth having because, I don't know, for intimate moments and stuff like that, it does make you feel kind of pretty. Oh, and that's another thing. Don't worry about being intimate with people. I have some funny stories about dating because after I had my ostomy surgery, I just started swiping on Tinder and meeting up with these people, and I had to just flat out tell them that I have an ostomy, and they didn't know what it was, or they did know what it was. I have some really hilarious stories about maybe like I had told one guy that I had it and it didn't click with him, and then he put his hands on my hips and he kind of had felt the pouch, and before I could even say anything, he's like lifting my shirt up and grabbing the pouch and he's pulling it and he's going, "What is this?" And I was just like, that's attached to me. You can let that go. And I was laughing, going, "That's my ostomy. I was telling you about it." So then I had to explain it all over again. But the person that I'm with now, who I'm just like crazy about, he's amazing. He knew what an ostomy was. He saw it on my Tinder profile. I was super open about it. I've got a picture of me in my bikini with the ostomy, and he saw it and he knew what it was. And it's never ever come up. Like, I mean, we have some funny stories about it, but anyhow, welcome to the world of having an ostomy. We are a strong group, we're a proud group, and just reach out to us and we'd be happy to help you. You can look on Facebook, there's tons of ostomy support groups. Some of them are more serious than others, some of them just shit talk, as we call it. Go on Instagram, there's tons of people that are super inspiring on Instagram, and we are always happy to help out a fellow ostomate. Bye.